Hi guys, today I want to talk about what my life is like after depersonalization. As some of you know, I went through depersonalization a few years ago and it was by far the scariest, toughest, most frustrating, confusing experience in my lifetime. But I did eventually get out of it, and I kind of want to make a video to talk about what my life is like after DPDR. So let's get into it. Hi guys, this is Swamy from A Coach Called Life. And like I said before, today I just want to take some time and talk about my life after DPDR. When I went through DPDR many years ago, it was one of the scariest experience that I ever went through. But I eventually found a way out of it. My recovery from DPDR was not overnight. I don't think anyone just like wakes up one day and just feels completely recovered, but it was a slow progress. My recovery was fraught with a lot of setbacks. I've made a video about a setback. I think you should go and watch it because your recovery is always a little bit up and down. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but eventually, you do get out of it. What happens is that many of your symptoms are gone in a matter of like weeks or even months, but there are like 1 or 2 symptoms that kind of lingers on. But at the end of the day, life after DPDR, is great. There's just no doubt about it. It almost feels like the storm clouds have like passed, and like finally the sun is shining down on you and you feel blessed, you feel great. And it's just like there's no question that life after DPDR feels a lot more relaxed, a lot more at ease. When you go through depersonalization, that's all you think about. And then when you eventually get out of it, when you reach recovery, you think less and less of depersonalization. It almost feels like you're kind of losing your own like memory about depersonalization, which is good in a way. And you just feel like, you go on about your day and 2 hours will go by and then suddenly you'll be like, hey, I haven't thought about depersonalization in the last 2 hours. This has never happened before. I've always been like, obsessing about DP. I've always been obsessing about my recovery, but I just spent 2 hours in a conversation with a friend and I did not think about depersonalization. So that's how recovery starts. You kind of tend to forget about DPDR as you go on about. And then once you've recovered, like for me, I really think about depersonalization a lot because I make these videos, I run my blog, so I really have to keep up to date because I want to create content that helps people, with depersonalization. But when I talk to some of my clients, when they recovered, what happens to them is just they just move on to other things. They start worrying about other things in life, and just like life just takes over. Another thing that I noticed is that when I was going through DPDR, when I would have a conversation with someone, I would be very self-conscious and my attention would be like very inward focused. But when you eventually get out of DPDR, you feel like you can just blend into a conversation or social setting and just be engrossed in a conversation or whatever, just like how it was before depersonalization, right? You just like become normal. You start having conversations, you start making small talk, but the focus is not inward. There's not like a spotlight shining on you. I'm also able to focus and concentrate just like I was able to before depersonalization. I could sit and watch a full movie. I could, do my work and not get super distracted. I mean, I do get distracted because of my cell phone, because of all the push notifications, but it's not like when I had DPDR, because when I had DPDR, that just took over my entire mental space, so I found it hard to concentrate on anything else. But after DPDR, your concentration and your focus comes back to normal. A lot of people ask me, do you still get depersonalized? Do you ever get this feeling of derealization? I always tell people like, yes, I do feel depersonalization, and it happens occasionally. Sometimes I'll feel derealized. I feel like, I'm out of touch with, like, the reality is like a little bit bizarre. But here's the thing, it comes and it goes, and it doesn't bother me, for some strange reason, like, because I've been over this thing, because I got over many setbacks, and finally I emerged out of it, like, over time. Like, this doesn't bother me at all. Like, let's say I have something coming up. Let's say I have an interview coming up. Naturally, I'm going to get anxious because I want to do my best with the interview. So if I get anxious, I'm putting a little bit of stress on myself, and maybe I'll feel slightly depersonalized. And if I do, I will just like recognize it. I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm feeling depersonalized. But after you recover, you don't like fall into that same hole, because you feel like, what, I got out of it. I'm not gonna dread it. Like, this is just product of stress. I know I am stressed, so I'm gonna feel depersonalized, whatever. And then like within like 2 or 3 minutes, I'm thinking about my interview. I'm thinking about like my what to do, how to prepare, and just things just, my attention is just drawn to something else, and it's because I don't give a lot of weightage to depersonalization or derealization. Even if I feel it, I don't think it's a scary monster. I don't think it's out to get me. I don't think I'm gonna go crazy. These were all the things that I thought of when I first became depersonalized, and because of that, I just became obsessed about depersonalization. But now that I've been through it and I'm on the other side, things like this don't bother me. After depersonalization, I now have this this confidence, this inner confidence, that whatever happens, I still have some kind of control, like, over the situation. I always keep telling myself, like, I got this, because I went through something that was so traumatic, so scary, and I got out of it. It just made me stronger mentally. And so whatever like challenges life throws at me, I have this like feeling of I got this. It can induce anxiety, whatever it is, but still I have this undercurrent feeling of like, I got this, which I think came after going through such a hard experience. Another thing that I want to point out is, how life feels really richer in some sense. Like, life feels like deeper to me than how I felt about life before DP. Now I have this kind of like rich appreciation for life. It's opened me up spiritually. I mean, I was already on the path. I was already a seeker, and then I went through depersonalization, and it made my beliefs, and it made me more spiritually aware. And now I have this like this appreciation for life, and I look around, look at the world. I just feel like, wow, I'm inside this like mystery. I get to be part of existence, which used to scare me when I was going through depersonalization. I would think to myself, like, how the hell am I existing right now? Like, what is how did I get here? Like, all of these existential philosophical questions, now I feel like they are like the doorways to something richer and deeper and more spiritual and more mysterious even, and it's kind of really cool. I like it, just being in a mysterious world, and it has made me more cosmic. I mean, I still get bogged down by day-to-day things. There's things to worry about, but at the end of the day, I feel like I'm able to like zoom out and have this cosmic perspective because of dpdr. I'm able to tell myself like, okay, at the end of the day, I am a spiritual being going through life, going through this existence, and just like feeling like I'm connected to the world in that way. I don't know. Maybe these kinds of things make sense to some people and they don't make sense to other people. But I just thought I'll put it out there so that maybe a few of us can, like, maybe it connects with someone watching this video. After depersonalization, I also feel like my empathy has increased a lot. Before DPDR, I would look at people on the streets and it wouldn't do anything for me. I would just be like, okay, there are people on the streets and whatnot. But as I was even going through depersonalization, I started to, connect my suffering with others. It kind of increases your sense of empathy. You're like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to go through a mental illness, or this is what it feels like to go through something hard, and I can see that person on the street. Maybe this person is going through something similar, and maybe this person is suffering. So like your suffering and your pain kind of makes it easier for you to connect with other people who are going through, like, some kind of suffering. So that's, in a way, that's a positive thing, and I feel like there's been a lot of positive things that came out of depersonalization. When you're going through it, you can see it. You always think like depersonalization is out to get you, or it's going to ruin you, it's going to destroy you. But life, when you get out of it, and when you look back, and at least in my case, and also in few people that I talk to, people have always felt like they are better off after depersonalization. I feel like I've grown personally. It's been a lot of personal growth for me because of this experience, and I don't know how my life would be if I did not go through this. I don't know what I'd be doing. I don't know, so I feel like this experience has been like integral in some ways to my life, even though it was hard, even though it was tough. But life afterwards, I have like a stronger appreciation for life, and I have a lot more empathy. Like, I view life like, very cosmically, if that makes sense. I don't, really get caught up in petty things. I don't think I was ever caught up in petty things, but yeah, it just feels like, there's a lot of petty things that people get upset about, but like, when you go through something like this, it just makes you feel like, what? Forget about all of these little things. Let's focus on something bigger. Let's help people out, or let's do something creative and fun, and put it out there so other people might enjoy. I don't know. Yeah, it feels like overall it's been kind of like this wonderful, eye-opening experience for me, but it was hard. There's no question about it. If you're someone who's going through depersonalization right now, I want to tell you, you're gonna get through this. It might take weeks, it might take months, it might take even a few years, like it did for me, but this is a transformational process. At least for me it was, and I hope you can see it that way. When I started seeing it as a transformational process, it actually made me, it helped me bear it, and so yeah, I want to just keep it short. So if you're going through this, just hang in there. You will get out of it, and maybe maybe you'll have a better appreciation for life. Maybe you'll be stronger than you were before. In any case, I want you to know that you're not alone. You can ask for help. Just write in the comments if you have any questions, and I'll try to reply to you. And we have a community of people that will help you out too. So alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you do need any help or support, be sure to check out my website, acoachcalllife.com. I also have a complete recovery program to get out of depersonalization. It's called DP No More. Be sure to check that as well. I'm gonna link both of those in the description. Until my next video, I wish you all the best. Good luck with your recovery, and I will see you soon.